In between in-service sessions and teacher trainings, Hawthorne Elementary third grade teacher Lizzie Hansen is getting her room ready for a new class. But getting back to teaching this year isn't that much of a stretch. She spent part of her summer on the other side of the world teaching.
So this summer I went to Kenya. I was there for almost 3 weeks and got the opportunity to go to 3 different schools. One school was in a village. I was one of the only white people they've ever seen, so that was really interesting to experience. The next school was also in a smaller village, but they only had grades, they call it playgroup, so like 3 and 4-year-olds up to 1st grade. So that was fun because I've never taught below 3rd grade, so very interesting. And the 3rd school was the Kibera School for Girls, run by Shafco, and it's in one of the biggest slums in the world. So that was a really perspective shifting experience to see the poverty that these girls come from, but to see the hope and confidence that comes from their education, because they know education is their way out of the slum. I first came across, coming to Kenya, my first year of teaching when I taught middle school at Whittier. I taught with Paula Kalanzo. She and her husband actually started the 2nd school I went to with the playgroup to 1st grade. And I am good friends with Sally Malawa, who teaches biology at Augie, and she's originally from Kenya. So got to meet some people and see where they come from and get to see what's really shaped their perspectives of the world. I got to teach a lot of reading lessons and English lessons. So they learn Kiswahili, they learn English, and their national exams are in English. So it was really fun for them to see a native English speaker, which they don't get to have very often. But I was reading a lot of books, doing a lot of like theatrics, and then teaching them a lot of games that we have here that are fairly easy to understand. Duck, Duck, Goose, London Bridges, all that fun stuff.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, with memories and impressions she'll never forget.
The biggest thing was probably just how much we take for granted in America. Running water, having consistent cell phone service, having decent roads, having the ability to brush your teeth in your bathroom. I actually had like a pitcher of water that was my bathroom water for the week. So I'd have to like dunk my toothbrush in, brush my teeth, and then like carefully pour it to clean off my toothbrush, and then like carefully pour it in my mouth to rinse. And I was like, dang, I'm never taking a safe sink for granted again. Or even just like hot water in the shower. Like there's so much. It's almost like living 100 years ago with a few little pieces of technology in between.
Lizzie found many parallels between kids here in Sioux Falls and in Kenya, but there are also some key differences.
They're all kids. They want to play, they want to have fun. The biggest difference was they have a much higher value on education. A lot of the state schools aren't well funded and just aren't great opportunities for education. So they have to go into more private schools, but private schools cost money. So even I met a young man named William. He got to do his first 2 years. Something happened with his family and he couldn't finish his last 2 years of high school. So he was going around looking for work to earn the 6,000 Kenya shillings that he needs for his next term. 6,000 Kenya shillings is about 30 bucks. So it's crazy to think like not a whole lot of money here is a whole term of education for them. Knowing that our time is so sacred because education is the biggest tool you can have to change your life. Like I always knew it was really important here, but not to the extent that I learned how important it is in Kenya. And just how much they wanted to be in school. They were never late, never, even when they were sick, they still came to school. They would I would see kids walking at 5 a.m. to get to school.
Working with teachers from another country brought a unique perspective to her job in Sioux Falls.
We collaborated with them a lot. I'm, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at doing read alouds with voices and everything, so I got to go into each of their rooms and read a book for them, and just to show them how you can bring books alive, because that's not part of their teaching experience or part of their, like even in their schema of how to teach a book, because they've just never seen it before.
Her biggest takeaway from the experience?
I would say there's always opportunities for generosity, even if you don't realize it. And it's not a huge commitment, even if it's just sharing something on Facebook or getting the word out about a little thing that you see shared somewhere online. It doesn't have to be monetary, it can be time, even like those little shares or watching the video to educate yourself. And just widen your perspective. See what the world is like through somebody else's eyes.
While she was setting up her room, she was preparing supplies for the Ubuntu Cafe, where once a week, third graders sell coffee to staff members throughout the building to raise money for different charities. This year, Lizzie believes they'll adopt one of the classrooms she visited to help a teacher make ends meet as budget cuts threaten livelihoods. Lizzie plans on going back next summer and possibly annually if she can.
It was very perspective shifting and life changing.